This season of My First Dungeon is sponsored by Soul Muppet Publishing and their backer kit campaign for their latest game, Paint the Town Red. If you're a fan of My First Dungeon, then you know that we are even bigger fans of Soul Muppet Publishing, and we are thrilled to be working with them again as part of this campaign. Everything that Soul Muppet makes reminds us why it is that we love to play games and gets us excited to get back to the table. And with the combo of Zach Cox as designer and Johan Noor as art director, you know that Paint the Town Red is something special. Click on the link in our show notes below to back this campaign and to let Soul Muppet know that My First Dungeon sent you there. And with that, enjoy this episode from our season of Paint the Town Red. Consequences. Consequences are the cost of action and inaction in equal measure. A debt incurred for every second of life and, as you are about to discover, for every second of undeath. Today is October 24th, the day the stock market begins its slow demise. The worst is yet to come, but you don't quite know that yet. And it certainly doesn't feel that way. Everyone in this city will feel the consequences of the machinations of shadowy factions in the city who are the only ones dusting off their tuxes, preparing to celebrate. But you four have to deal with some consequences of your own.
But if we can't get ahead, then we're better off dead. So why don't we paint the town red? So why don't you paint the town red, honey? So why don't we paint the town red? Oh. Good night.
We're going to start this session with Phase 4 of Paint the Town Red, which is very simply titled Consequences. For this phase, we're going to be looking at the player who has the most chaos. And as I check my little sheet here, that looks like Kane, baby. How you doing?
Kane? Why Kane? Kane has done truly nothing wrong or anything truly deserved incursional chaos.
First murderer, sweetest guy.
So chill.
Hey, I'm an entrepreneur. I see an empty field. I see a field that no one's really ventured into, and I just venture into it. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Need, I think they call it. Yeah.
I see blue skies and I run towards them, baby. So for this section of the game, for every 2 chaos that Kane has, we're going to roll on a table. Each of those has some pretty bad consequences to your actions. And all of those things will occur. We'll decide how they occur together. At the end of that, Kane's chaos will drop to 0, and their pulse will drop 2d3. Also, it's important to note that the text explicitly calls out the character with the lowest chaos at the end of the session is being too boring and should be lightly mocked by all the rest of you.
Yes.
I agree.
My favorite part of the game.
Yeah. I think we definitely should
Genius.
not forget that part. Dylan.
So Kane, for every 2 chaos we're going to be rolling on this table, how many chaos do you have?
I have 9 chaos.
Ooh, baby,
Yeah.
that's a fistful of consequences.
I was aiming for 10, but I'm shy. Just one shy.
Well, we got 9. That rounds down to 8. There's 4 players here. Why don't each of you grab a D8 and roll it for me?
Ooh, D8, 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 D8.
So, Fitzroy, what'd you roll?
A 5. Reveal a hostile faction.
Excellent. Savali, what'd you roll?
3.
A friendly contact becomes a rival contact.
Yeah, eat it.
Minnie, what'd you roll?
I rolled an 8.
8. A mortal contact dies or suddenly disappears.
Oh, no.
Savali, no.
Oh, a normal girl.
I'm a normal girl.
And Kane, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 3.
Ooh, another friendly contact becomes a rival contact. So there's a lot of stuff there. Let's start with we're going to be revealing a faction. Ed, do you want to roll for a new faction?
Yeah, okay. What am I rolling?
Roll me a d6.
Okay. That's a 6.
Yeah, suck it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the highest I can roll. I did well on this.
That's
Yeah,
the
he
one
wins.
nice one.
He wins.
Excellent. I'm going to have that come into play in just a minute.
Aww.
Mm.
Boo.
Savali and Kane, you guys have a number of friendly contacts. Scarlet, Good Luck Freddy, Breakneck Baz, Doug, who I guess is the only mortal contact you know, so might be the one that's unfortunately dying. Fedora Fred, the Rat King, Nellie Blight. Who do you think turns from friendly to rival?
Definitely not my boy, the Rat King.
Well, to be fair, the Rat King is being controlled by Fedora Fred right now.
That is true.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely didn't give permission there.
Who is Scarlet again?
Scarlet is
the
Ghost.
the ghost singer, yeah.
Ghost thing.
Right. Right.
My wife.
My wife.
Nellie Blight was the reporter.
Nellie Blight's the reporter.
I would like Nellie Blight to be, for me anyway.
I
like
agree.
Nellie
I
Blight.
did just
agree
tell
with
her
that.
everything I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I think that's
It also gives us ammunition to make fun of Dylan.
yeah.
Yeah. That's all I ever want to do, honestly. I'm finding an excuse
Yeah.
every day to do that.
It's really challenging.
We have one more we have to pick.
Yeah.
I do also just want to remind you that reputation for contacts or factions does not just apply individually, it is to the whole party. So if Nellie Blight is a rival now, she's a rival for all of you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah, let's do Scarlet.
Scarlet?
Ah, dang it.
Just taking all of the
Taking
women
all
from
of
Minnie.
Minnie's toys away.
Taking all my hose away. Can't believe you.
So we have a mortal contact who dies or disappears. I think the only person that you've met that's mortal is Greg, the human friend of Good Luck Freddy, who's the NYU student who ran off, who was wearing
Oh shit,
Fedora
yeah.
Fred. Unless there's someone else you guys want to introduce and then have immediately die and or disappear.
Yeah, no, Greg's got to go.
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
it's great.
Yeah.
Is there a
Yeah.
Brian too?
Brian too.
Brian was alive. Didn't come back.
It's Brian with a Y. That guy can die. It's fine.
Yeah.
You guys end that raucous night, head off into the night, watch the sun begin to rise over the horizon, not knowing what's coming. Throughout the day, you rapidly discover, along with the rest of New York City, as the financial markets take a massive downturn, only the first of many in the days to come. You guys can all feel the drain on the city. Not only that, you can smell it on the city. Vampires in this city and in this game, Paint the Town Red, can smell both joy and misery. And today, this city stinks of misery. Minnie,
Yeah.
why don't you tell me how you piss off both Scarlet and Nellie Blight? Just to give you a fun bit. In the same moment.
It was well, it was an accident. Yeah, so I'm sitting there and I'm in Nellie's lap and I'm telling her the story of the night and we're getting on real good. And then Scarlett comes out to do another number. And I just was so wrapped up, I didn't really mean to, but I kind of like talked all through Scarlett's set. Normally that wouldn't be a problem, but I kind of made a whole big show of it earlier. And then when she sort of hushed me, I maybe sort of like booed her a little bit. And it just wasn't what I meant to do. It just sort of came out of me because I was wrapped up in a moment. And well, anyway, it turns out that, Nellie actually is like a big fan of Scarlett. So, the two of them really didn't love that. And maybe also the story that I just got done telling Nellie was a little more gruesome than I had remembered in my head. And it didn't really make us look all that great, even though I thought that we came across like kind of cool. Anyway, it really wasn't my fault. It was just an accident. And now everybody's all offended. And I said I was sorry. I maybe said it sarcastically, but I meant it genuinely, I think. And yeah, they're mad at me, but like, that's fine.
You see Scarlett on the stage. Hearing you talking over her song is already enough to earn her ire, but hearing a light boo, she immediately stops mid-song. The band continues to play for a second, and then like, and she, without a word, walks off to the complaints of all of the people in the bar here. Like, no, honey, come back. Oh, no, just one more. Including Nellie Blight, who I think only at this moment do you notice was really making goo-goo eyes at Scarlett.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Nellie kind of picks you up and puts you on the table and runs after Scarlett off into the morning.
Oops.
As that happens, Savali, you're walking home after this night out, having only just recently noticed your missing shadow. And off in the distance, you see a familiar face of Good Luck Freddy. Good Luck Freddy kind of runs up to you and goes, "Hey, Savali, have you seen Greg? I've been looking for him. He ran off and he didn't come home. And I checked all of his usual haunts. He's not there."
Greg.
The guy he ran off when we were drinking the port wine. Spell it?
Yeah.
Greg. He's got a second G.
Oh, yes.
The second
2G's Greg. 2G's Greg.
2G's Greg.
2G's Greg.
2G's Greg. Yes.
That's rough.
Have you seen? I can't find him.
I haven't seen him since he ran off. I think Fitzroy maybe went out to see him because Fitzroy had his hat, or gave the Rat King his hat. Maybe the Rat King. You should ask the Rat King. That guy knows everything.
The Rat King.
Yeah.
You see, Good Luck Freddy just kind of looks at you, and again, Good Luck Freddy does not realize that he's a vampire. It's just kind of looking at you like, Rat King doesn't ring a bell.
That's.
What does he look like?
You want me to spell it? Oh, he looks as if he's a man that's made out of rats. An amalgamation. When you shake his hand, it's deeply actually upsetting.
Listen, if you're gonna fuck with me, I've got stuff to do. All right, don't talk to me about rat people, okay?
All right. Freddy.
I'm gonna find Greg. All right.
No,
thanks for nothing, buddy.
You know, do you know what you are?
What? I'm frustrated. That's what I am.
You're dead. Okay.
Don't threaten me.
Idiot. No, I'm not threatening you. Jesus, what an idiot.
This bickering continues for a moment as we fade away. Kane, you find yourself setting up for your service in the morning, and Fitzroy, I think you've found yourself at the service as well, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, of course.
And as you guys are there setting up for service, Fitzroy, you momentarily walk through the doorway of St. Patrick's Cathedral, and you look over instinctively off to the side where there is a bowl of holy water that usually you make the sign of the cross as you enter. And you see it is not that crystal clear water that you are used to. Instead, it is this rippling brown water that you all of a sudden get a whiff of and immediately recognize. This is not holy water. This is not potable water. This is not fresh water, salt water. This is Hudson River water.
Oh, God.
Yuck.
And you hear from that bowl just a small... An accountant, eh?
You, come to make confession as well, then?
You hear the voice of Hudson, the spirit that is all of, some of, most of, is the Hudson River, echo out through this small basin of water.
I'll be curious what you will find. The machinations of this city move so swiftly, and I cut through them all. Water always wins, my friend. It is patient, and it is mighty, and it is filthy.
Oh, no. Oh, no. The water's hot.
Oh, fuck. I think Fitzroy just looks into this bowl and... You just spying, or do you have something to offer?
Little column A, little column B. Information is always good. I'm looking for what comes after what happens. This city is starting to rot under our feet. And I, for one, am waiting eagerly for the tired and the hungry to find me.
Well...
You like the water. You come to me often and stay just a little less than I'd like. If you'd like to stay forever, you're always welcome.
I've died once before, thanks all the same. I've other things in my not quite life now, so... Cheers, though.
Pity. I'll be listening.
And you see that basin begins to, like a toilet draining, with no drain underneath. Just going into some non-existent abyss, the holy water or the Hudson water is drained.
What?
That's cool.
Could I, as this conversation was happening, have essentially snuck up behind Fitzroy and this avatar of Hudson?
Yeah.
Almost like a shadow just kind of behind Fitzroy, listening in on what's going on. Could I have done that?
Yeah, I'll say roll a duplicity check to see if you can do this without Hudson noticing.
Okay. Oh, that's a 5 and a 4 plus a 1, so that's a 10.
Yeah, you stay off in the distance listening. You actually know that in this cathedral, you don't have to get very close. There are a number of whispering points in this cathedral where, from exactly the right spot across the cathedral, you can hear a whispered conversation as if it is right next to you. And you see Fitzroy looking down and speaking to this basin of holy water. And you stand just a few inches to your left, 50, 60 feet away, and hear the entirety of this conversation, recognizing the voice of Hudson, and knowing that this is an entity excited for the desperation that is to come.
There's a slight smile that spreads across Kane's face because you'd be surprised how many people turn to religion when things become desperate.
And I think you see that even as the markets close that day, and you begin to see more parishioners than you usually had in the past. Not a lot, but just a few more very specific prayers, and also very notably, a few less alms in the box for the poor. And certainly no money for the church roof. And as we move on, we return once more to the first phase of Paint the Town Red, which is it is all happening tonight. Kane, at the end of these consequences, your chaos drops to 0, and your pulse returns down to D3. So if you can go ahead and roll D3 for me and let me know what you get.
Yes, I rolled a D6 and rolled a 4, so half of that is a 2.
So Kane, you are feeling not so chaotic and also very much not alive. It all begins happening tonight. This It's All Happening Tonight phase is going to look a bit more like a montage than our first session. So I'm going to go around to each of you, and I want you to, consulting your chaos and pulse numbers, tell me what you're doing that day. You can choose to roll on the table that is presented with you based on your quadrant, or you can make something up that you feel like fits. Kane, we're going to go ahead and start with you, because you are low pulse and low chaos.
I'll go with the table. It says, you are somewhere high up looking down at the city, brooding. And I think I'm on top of the constantly in need of repair roof of the church. Sat after service, just kind of watching the cityscape. The, as far as I can tell, newly dead city after whatever happened with the stocks just the night before. And I'm trying hard to listen, focus in on the hustle and bustle of the city. But it just doesn't seem to be much of it today. Not as much as there usually is. Usually at least trying to let that pour in helps. It helps with distracting me from the other noises that I'm constantly hearing. But in this case today, it's not, and I just keep hearing it in my head, like always, maybe even louder than ever, the sound, almost like a metronome, but wet and gory, the sound of a skull being crushed over and over and over again, much louder than it was the night before. I miss that high that I was at that made it all drown out, almost disappear into the background, but now have nothing but that to focus on. And Kane alone, I think, reaches for the eye patch and gently pulls it off their eye. And as they do, you see that this floral decoration that was on it wasn't on the eye patch. As they pull it off, you see this white myrtle flower is actually rooted within their left eye. With every slight look and tick when they're looking around, you see that flower almost twitch a little bit as if the eye's trying to move in that direction as well, but it hasn't been able to move in a long time. And with this sound of a skull being crushed, just echoing in their head, I think this flower almost pulses as if it's alive, as if it's a separate entity in time with the gruesome metronome in their head. And they just sit there and think and brood.
That metronome of a crime thousands of years old pulses with the city, pulses with your lack of a heartbeat. This is your heartbeat now. Usually you can drown it out with frivolity and with the sound of the city, but the sound of the city is being drowned out by the stench of the city. The city moves slow. The city moves angry. You hear it, but it doesn't drown it out. Nowhere close. And you sit and you think. A prison within your own ears. A prison within your own mind. And we move over to Minnie.
Yeah.
Minnie with low chaos and high pulse. You're feeling more alive, but a little less chaotic. What do you do?
Minnie, despite all of the drama that kind of ruined the end of the night, she still stayed and shut down the bar as best she could. So tonight, she's kind of sleeping in. She's upstairs in the apartment in a bed with like a just black curtains on every possible window, and every time that she like starts to wake up, she opens her eyes and sees this sliver of light that's crept into the room and just shuts her eyes again, pulls the covers over, and she's trying to stay asleep as long as she can tonight. Not really particularly feeling in a rush to get back downstairs.
You try to rest, live almost in a normal way. You see flashes of the night before, flashes of the two playthings that you were sitting on their lap and looking at and lost out the window.
You don't gotta rub it in or anything.
It's not me, the GM, rubbing it. It is in your own mind. You yourself.
Yeah, bitch.
But sometimes the only thing to do is try and sink into bed as deep as you can, pull the covers over top, and let it all pass by, waiting for the better thing to come along. Savali.
Yeah.
With high pulse and high chaos. Why don't you roll on this table for me, or let me know what you would like to do as it all begins happening tonight. And I'll say what I'd like you to do is drag Minnie into your scene as well.
Okay.
You are roommates after all.
Girls' night.
We are roommates. Yeah, I rolled a 3. You were up in the face of some fucker, ready to start a brawl. And I think what has happened since the market crashed, right? And everyone's rushing to the banks to get their money.
Yeah, we could say there's a run on the banks, sure.
I was gonna fuck up a banker, but if that's
Yeah, you can fuck up a banker.
All right, we're fucking up a banker, Minnie. We're beating up a banker.
Hell yeah, we are.
Savali, you hear reports midday on the radio of the stock market beginning to crash and taking a massive dip in early trading. And you know that a number of the banks have started closing their doors or trying to hold back money. You've heard that there's a rush on on a couple of banks happening, including the bank where you keep your money. And you know that it feels bad. You smell the scent of misery on the city. Might be time to get some of it out, what you got in.
Me and Minnie roll down to the bank. We get on the little banking line. We get to the front, and I'm like, all right, listen, fucker. This is my friend Minnie. She is a vampire.
I wanted to say
normal.
that Minnie right now has like a sleep mask still like just pulled up in her hair, has not done her finger curls today. She's like in a slip. She's looking real pissed.
I want you to tell me how much money is in my bank account, and I want all that money in cash right now.
You see the banker sitting behind the counter. It's got like, the gold bars in front of him. Got a name tag on it. It says Brian with a Y.
Oh my god.
This is how I denote a red shirt mortal. Just
Yeah.
these are the fathers.
It's a Brian. That's what we'll call it. It's a Brian.
Brian's saying there, yeah, if you could just give me your account number, ma'am. As I said before, I'm happy to help you. You have given me no information about what account you're looking to withdraw from.
Right. Sorry, I just came in here and started yelling at you.
No, it's fine. I've had a lot of people today. What number do you have?
Savali pulls out like a piece of paper that she wrote down on, like crinkles it open, looks down at the paper, looks at the banker and goes, 4.
He looks at you, looks a little weird for a second, dusts aside like the main book that he was going to use, pulls up a giant tome that's like leather bound, slaps on the table, blows dust off of it, turns to the first
Yeah, one of you first.
He goes, all right, we got Jesus, Kane, Rockefeller, Savali.
Oh, wonderful.
Rockefeller was the third bank account, yeah.
Jesus did come to America. The Mormons were right.
Oh, damn.
Oh, my God.
Oh, no.
He looks at you and goes, yeah, I'd be happy to. And then all of a sudden, the clock on the wall clicks, and it hits 5 o'clock, and he goes, ooh, I'm so sorry. You're going to have to come back tomorrow.
No. Come on. Wait. Come on. Wait.
I'm so sorry. And starts pulling down the curtain in front of him.
Wait.
Minnie is gonna grab at your arm.
What?
Did you bring me out of bed for a particular reason?
I need you to help me get my money. Our money. The money I give you to buy me port.
Oh, that's right. And she wakes up and pulls the curtain back up, grabs this Brian by the scruff of the neck, and pulls him down.
No. Hello? Sorry, the bank is closed now.
It's not closed till you give us some money, sugar.
It's actually at 5 o'clock. That's banking hours.
I was having a real nice nap. I was having such sweet dreams. Now I'm sitting here talking to you. So if you could give my friend Savali her money, that would be all great, and I'll leave here without draining you dry. But if you don't, I'm coming back there and we're going to have a party. How does that sound?
I'm going to need one of you to make an appropriate check.
What's appropriate, do you think?
I feels like savagery.
Yeah, that's definitely
I'm feeling pretty savage right now.
Savali, this is your scene, so I'll let either you can make it or you can pass it off to Minnie to make it as your proxy.
No, let Minnie do it.
All right.
Yeah?
Go for it.
She's the muscle.
But I will be clear, any bad things that happen will happen to Savali.
You okay with that?
Yeah, I like this.
Okay.
I really like this. I want you to fail so badly right now.
Snake eyes.
Oh,
Let's go.
no! Don't say that. That is a 11.
Okay, that is a success. You pull Brian closer. Brian with a Y, let me be very clear.
Thank you.
Brian with a Y closer. Your mouth opens up, your fangs visible for a moment, and you see a flash of fear in his eyes. I'm going to say he recognizes you for what you are as undead, which means I need you to go ahead and gain a chaos.
Ooh.
Please, yeah.
And actually, Savali, I'll have you take that as well.
What?
Yeah, why not?
He doesn't know.
Yeah, babe. We're in this together. We're partners.
I'm just friends with the vampire.
And he goes, you know what? That clock actually runs a little fast. Why don't I just get you your money?
Why don't you? Yeah, why don't you?
You just continue holding him, and he's like, I have to move a little.
You can reach it, sugar. I believe in you.
Okay. Yeah, sugar.
You hold fast, and he just like keeps pulling back, his tie just getting tighter and tighter as he does. He's just okay, I'm almost there. How about this? Okay, here's your money.
You want anything else, Savali?
Do I have a safety deposit box here?
For expediency, no.
Then I'm good. I think that's all I got.
Caramels back there?
Just pulls up and hands you 3 Werther's. They're called new though. They're Werther's News instead of Werther's New. But yeah, we've got these new things. They're called Werther's.
Oh, neat.
You pop a caramel in your mouth, take a large stack of bills and things, and exit the bank. feeling the people around you still trying to get into the bank, and behind you in line, angry that they were cut off and worried about what is going to happen in the future.
Yeah. Savali's walking away, counting her money, and goes, "Nice. Got my $24 from the bank."
Oh my God, we're rich.
We're rich.
And last but not least, Fitzroy, with a low pulse and a high chaos. Go ahead and roll a die for me and tell me how you got into the mess that you are in.
I rolled a 2, which means that I am bruised, and I am battered, and I am lying in a gutter. Fitzroy only has vague memories of how he ended up here. After the church, after walking the streets of the city, it is the city that never sleeps, but there is an eerie disquiet to it. And he heads towards the edges of the city, towards the river. He remembers being jumped by 2 individuals. Jumped for his wallet, for his money. Both are gone as he pats himself down and slowly begins to just pick himself up. And he seems remarkably unperturbed by this as he just sort of like wipes the blood from his mouth and just wiping it down on his cream crinkled suit. He just achingly walks over to the railings that separates this city from the river itself, and looking out into the bay, he can just glimpse in the distance the first thing he saw when he first came to New York. He sees Lady Liberty through the mist. And he remembers seeing her for the first time, because it was also the first time he met the other most important woman in his life. He looks down at the river, spits into it, and just turns around and begins to walk back into the city.
As you walk away, you hear from behind you, and the Hudson River spits back.
Yuck! Yuck!
Fucking wanker.
Oh, I love that. Fuck. I'm getting a t-shirt tomorrow.
The Hudson River spits back. It's a t-shirt.
Spits back. Damn.
We move from it is all happening tonight to tonight, because last night, Savala, you, after a wonderful dinner at Keen's Steakhouse with the Rat King and Fedora Fred, were invited to a party, a big party to celebrate. And as you've been looking around all day, there hasn't been anyone you know excited to celebrate today. No one is out partying in the way they usually do. You've got a ticket to go. Savala, would you like to tell me which faction this party is with, or would you like to roll for it?
I'll roll for it.
Yeah, go and roll a d6.
4.
You gather up your friends throughout the day. Kane looking very sullen.
Kane, you look like shit.
Fitzroy looking very wet. Minnie looking very tired. And you find yourselves on Madison Avenue at Margino and Bain Advertising. On the 60th floor of a beautiful Art Deco building. You go into the elevator on the bottom floor. A bouncer concierge checks you in. You're given these beautiful gold embossed, fantastic invitations that the Rat King handed to you. You make your way up the elevator, and as the elevator opens, you are greeted with a massive party.
Whoa.
This is a party of champagne and tuxedos and beautiful people doing beautiful things. It is fun.
Are they fucking?
No, they're not fucking. They're not that cool.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still rich.
Back in my day, the party.
Yeah, Kane.
We've heard it, Kane. We know.
Yeah, you've told us about Sodom and Gomorrah. We know.
They threw them. Oh, you haven't seen Sodomy until you were partnered with Sodom. Oh, God.
Jesus Christ.
He was there.
He was a hard party.
You guys see a party of champagne and tuxedos and gold and glitz and glam and expense. You see excess here. A lot of the parties you guys go to are more carnal and fun. This is a show of power and a show of wealth more than anything else. Everyone's having fun. They are here to be seen having fun, competing with each other for how much fun they can be seen having, regardless of whether or not they have said fun.
Oh, God.
It's a different air, but the booze is still good. Tell me, what do you guys do?
Take shots.
Yeah.
You go up to the bartender. He's behind the bar. He's got a whole array of things, and there's a placard that has all the different drink. Old fashioned Manhattan. You've got champagne. You've got Cur Royales. You've got all these fancy champagne related drinks. What shot do you ask him for?
4 shots of your finest port, please.
I will kind of raise a hand and go, AB negative if you have any.
The bartender goes, oh. And he gives you a big side-eye wink. Actually, Kane, do me a favor. Roll a D12 for me. See who's bartending tonight.
Okay. Let's say 2.
Tell me, who do you think would be behind there? A patron of the arts or a historian?
I think a historian.
Historian. You see a familiar figure to you, Dr. Lawrence Fielding. He is a historian, antiquarian at the Museum of Natural History on loan from the British Museum. He comes around the bars all the time trying to collect stories from you guys, stories of undeath. And especially he comes to you a lot just because you are so old and have so many good stories.
I like to call it experience, but I guess old works as well.
He loves that line. He eats that line for breakfast. And he very quickly pours you guys some shots in very fine highball glasses so they don't look like shots, and goes, hello, Kane. Wonderful to see you. How
too, Doctor.
It's absolutely lovely to see you here. I didn't expect these people are a bit stuffy, and I didn't expect to see the fun partiers here, but they do have good stories. I'm just curious. I'm trying to round out my exhibit, see, and what I've been asked to do is maybe disprove some historical facts or anything like that. Do you have any secrets from your time in life?
Oh, they take a seat and they kind of groan, very much the groan of you take a, the kind of groan you start noticing you do when you take a seat and you're getting a bit older, getting up in years. Even though they have no reason to be feeling any aches or pains in their joints, they kind of sit as if they do and sigh. Do you want anything pre or post Jesus?
Oh, currently I'm looking more pre-Jesus personally.
Okay.
But I'll take anything. The folks here at the Natural History Museum are not too picky. If I can give them a splashy article, a splashy bit of an exhibit, they'll love it.
Oh, okay. Well, hold on. And they'll reach into their pockets, and you kind of hear rattling of something in there, and you can only assume it's either dice or bones as they reach in and pull out what looks like a knuckle bone and sets it down. Well, as you know, I was one of the first people to build what we recognize as cities.
Yes. Very, very interested in this.
Yes. Well, in that same city, I suppose I was one of the first serial killers.
Oh, wonderful.
He pulls out a notebook and starts writing it down.
First serial killer. This will be a splash.
Yes, and I want to just add to my resume. First murder wasn't quite enough. I wanted to get all of the firsts before anyone else could, populate Earth.
Sure,
but
of course,
these are
very
the
sensible.
knuckle bones of... thank you. Thank you. I like to think so. I like to be a bit more proactive kind of person. Yeah, these knucklebones are some of the first of my first victims. This one here, they were a baker. This one here was trying to become a librarian, but I burned that library down. And they just go through a bunch of heinous crimes that they committed, and each one is like he has a memento of them, some kind of bone or something from those victims.
Would you mind?
Yes.
If I collect some of these into a wonderful exhibit for the museum? I could have some placards made. We could have a big show of it.
Go.
Burn down a library of Alexandria, perhaps.
That was one of them. That was quite a few years later on.
Of course. I'd love to make an exhibit of these.
Yeah, please take them. I have plenty more left at home. Yeah. That love is terrifying. I think even Kane is always taken aback whenever this guy laughs. Okay, yeah, you can stop doing that.
And he takes the bones, runs off to go do work, and the bar is now left unmanned.
Minnie, the bar.
I'm sorry, am I working?
I didn't say work, I just said the bar's open. You can just take what you want now.
Oh, thank goodness. I wasn't going to do that. She runs to the bar. Again, could go behind it, does not, leans over it, scoops out what she wants from behind the bar, from over it.
Should we each take a bottle?
Yeah, or maybe two.
We each take 2 bottles.
Yeah. Roy
is just currently stood a little further away from the group. He's currently just kind of observing the room a little bit, and specifically he is looking for an accountant. He's kind of looking around, and as he's looking amongst the crowd and kind of overhearing, and he looks and feels very out of place, but as he turns round and meets your eyes, Minnie, there is a very genuine smile underneath his pencil mustache, and he just, all right, yep, you need a professional. Come on, I'll let me pour. I'll play mother.
Roy, we don't work for this place. Let's just drink straight from the bottle. And also, look at all these Barneys around. We could play so much.
You want it straight? You sure you don't want a champagne cocktail, love?
All right, obviously, I prefer a champagne cocktail, but I'll do whatever.
You want a professional. Come on.
All right, but promise me, you got to promise me you're not spending this entire night behind the bar serving these people. I want to go play. Come on.
Come on, Fitzroy.
They're stiffer than...
Yeah, Fitzroy.
All right, fuck it. Why not? All right, come on. And he just reaches behind the bar and takes out a number of bottles, and one for you, and Port Sivali.
Thanks, Fitzroy.
You're very welcome, love.
You guys start walking through this party, kind of schmoozing, looking around. Very quickly, you start to get taken notice of, mostly because everyone else here is in very fine, perfectly tailored suits, and you are all various degrees of crumpled and tired and wet. And
I'm literally in my priest garb.
In the priest garb. Very out of place from dress. But also everyone here has...
Fitzroy's still wet.
Yeah, Fitzroy is still just a little bit damp. The Hudson, when the Hudson doesn't want you to dry, you will not dry.
It does. No, you're not dry.
And Fitzroy, I think you may even be a little bit aware that the Hudson River being on you is maybe more intentional than it initially felt. That its presence still on you doesn't feel like something not drying. It feels like something sticking around.
Okay.
Don't look under the bed. Don't open the closet. And whatever you do, don't skip this ad. World Champ Game Co. is the one-stop shop for all of your horror desires this Halloween season.
Sink your teeth into classic thrills with slasher card game 1978, The Night They Came Home. Keep close to the light as you weave eerie new tales with Campfire, anthology horror storytelling. Whatever makes your spine crawl, World Champ has a game for you. Run for your life to worldchamp.io and grab your next favorite horror role-playing game. And right now, get 20% off your order with code KILLER. Again, that's 20% off at worldchamp.io with code KILLER. And when you can't fall asleep at night, just keep telling yourself, it's only a game.
The Between is now crowdfunding on BackerKit. The Between is a new role-playing game from the creators of the award-winning Brindlewood Bay. Inspired by Penny Dreadful and Sherlock Holmes, you play as monster hunters in Victoria-era London, investigating and neutralizing these supernatural threats that terrorize the city. Threats that Scotland Yard can't or won't handle themselves. As the story progresses, you become aware of a criminal mastermind pulling the strings behind the scenes. In the end, you will have to face this mastermind in order to save both Queen and country. Rewards for backing this project include The Between's core rulebook, Shadow Society, an expansion book for the game's London setting, and Sons of Another World, which gives you 3 brand new settings for The Between. And back early to get access to a limited reward, the glow-in-the-dark Mastermind Dice. So head right now to BackerKit and search The Between.
A Fool's Errand is a tarot-fueled science fantasy game set in a post-calamity world of androids, humans, and all those in between. Build your fools and explore realms both waking and subconscious. But the more powerful you get, the more the major arcana gods will take notice and rain down their love and range as both boons and calamities. Every calamity dreams its successor. The world approaches its next big oops. So, fool, will you deny these jealous gods? Back A Fool's Errand right now by visiting www.afoolserrandgame.com. Your errand awaits. You are gaining a lot of attention for your attire, but also all of you are drinking straight from bottles. Somali just has a bottle of AB negative port, and everyone else has these fine crystal champagne goblets. People are moving around. They're kind of like steering clear of you a little bit, or just not quite sure what your vibe is. After a little bit, you do see a very tall... There's a large item that seems squared off at the edges. Very large, almost like a incredibly large poster underneath a red tarp or a red piece of fabric that seems to be like it's highlighted by a number of lights and things. There's like a table in front of it that also has a red tarp on top of it, clearly hiding other items. It seems to be a centerpiece to be unveiled in the near future. And you see there is a very tall, gaunt, kind of Italian gentleman standing near it. Seems to be like getting ready to deliver a speech, or is looking to start getting people's attention, is conferring with 1 or 2 associates.
Do they look particularly interested? You mentioned something earlier about how a lot of people in here look like they're trying to prove they're having fun.
You see the 4 people around this item to be unveiled seem to be the exception. As you see them and see this kind of orbit of this party, you realize that the gravity of this party is around these 4. Everyone else is in orbit around them. When they glance off to see who is looking or who is listening, the first glance is always to this group of people, especially this very gaunt Italian gentleman.
Kane,
Yeah.
like tug on you. All right, so let me pitch something.
I'm all ears.
Everybody else here is like desperate for attention. We could totally have fun here, right? But like those four seem hard to get.
You want to try and crack those shells? Make conversation with them?
I mean, that'd be more fun, right?
I think so. Especially since it's what everyone else here seems to want to do. I think the outcasts should do it. It'd be quite fun.
Cool.
You guys move over to this group of four, and you see that the closer you get, the more the rest of the party starts to notice that you are making a move that direction. And very quickly, this Italian gentleman kind of like looks at you, sees you walking over, and ignores you. But as you get closer, you see him getting more and more bewildered that you would approach him.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time you make it there, he is aghast that you are trying to butt into this group of four who are clearly like preparing for the moment of the party. He looks at you and returns to, as best he can, like a polite face and goes, "Can I help you?"
I honestly just want to say you have a wonderful party here. I'm Kane, and this is my friend here, Minnie.
Drank? She holds up a bottle.
No, I... Thank you very much. I have my own... And he holds up a glass. I have my own. I appreciate your congratulations on the party, and now that you have said it, you can certainly continue mingling with the party. I'm sure you have many fine people to meet elsewhere.
Yes, but we would like to meet the hosts of this party first.
Takes a long swig.
What's all of your names? And I'll look to the other three.
The other three look at you. You see a man, a very like squat man with big Coke bottle glasses. He's got like ink all over his hands, but the ink seems to like kind of move a little bit, almost like it seems to be like in motion on his hands. You see a very elegant woman, a very like long dress, a plunging neckline that seems out of place at this party. It seems like too much for this party, but she's rocking it. And a person with a probably the only person with an ill-fitting coat, and you very quickly realize because they seem large, like they seem wide, and you very quickly realize it is because underneath the coat, as it kind of flares open, there are 10 additional arms.
Perfect.
The 10-armed person goes,
Yeah, I'm so sorry. We're actually about to be doing something quite important, and you've kind of come at a bit of a bad time. And so,
Oh, I'm sorry. Why are we interrupting? What is this?
we're about to make the announcement. And
I'm gonna reach towards the top as if I'm about to lift it up.
you see the Italian, like the very tall Italian guy, immediately reach over, grab your hand hard, and pull it back. The entire time, for anyone else looking, it almost looks polite, but you feel the grip of the hand. It is very much not polite. Grabs it. You feel his nails digging into your wrist in a very deliberate, very uncomfortable way, and he pulls your hand back towards you and goes, "Just wait like everyone else. You'll see soon enough how we plan to change this city, to bring it back from the ashes that it will be in soon."
I don't understand. This is the best city on earth. You got something to make it even better?
You see the woman looks at you. She turns over to the man and goes,
Antonio, don't waste your breath with these people. Let's just... excuse me, miss, if you could just kindly fuck off, okay? We got some talking to do. We're going to show you how we're going to change the world. If you want to be part of that afterwards, you're more than welcome to. But I think right now, you're just in our way, okay, honey? So why don't you go over there? Why don't you go over there, get yourself another bottle or something, all right?
Okay.
It's okay, babe. Don't worry about it. You know what? I will. Can't wait to hear about your little experiment. She's gonna walk like cross over the bar, grab another bottle. She's got 2 in her hands now. And she's going to pick the most desperate looking group of people to sit with. Whoever looks the most desperate to be seen having fun, that's where she's going to park.
They are not hard to find. It is clearly a group of mid-level executives. They are eerily close to this group of 4, trying to be within earshot, but look like they're not within earshot, and they're doing it poorly. These are the people you know will never make it to sea level, but kind of think they will.
Oh, yeah.
It's a self-delusional type thing.
I think there's definitely a moment where Kane like steps forward and Minnie's like, no, it's okay. And as Minnie walks away, Kane just stares at these 4 with a smile on their face and then turns and I think joins Minnie at their table.
As you walk away, you do hear the 12-armed gentleman, who you hear referenced as Switch. Switch turns to them and goes, "Hey, do you guys know who that was?" And there's a small bit of chatter about who exactly you are. You do see one surprised look from the tall Italian gentleman, who you've pieced together at this point is Antonio Margino, the head and CEO of this advertising firm. You guys mingle, you glare from across the room. Actually, you know what? Kane and Minnie, can I have you both, I'll let you choose, gain either a pulse or a chaos.
I'm taking chaos, please.
Pulse, please.
Fitz and Savali, you are drinking throughout the room. You're kind of watching things, and not too much time passes before you hear the clinking of a knife on the side of a champagne goblet, and direction immediately turns towards this crimson red tarp. And Antonio Margino steps forward with his 3 companions immediately to the side of him. As you know, this city is going through a unfortunate, tumultuous era presently. Our friends on Wall Street have put their machinations into motion, and we wait for the fallout. They think they're so clever. They think we've sat back and just let them have their way with this city, but no. They deal with dollars and cents. That's all they ever understand. But we know the real prize, real power comes from one thing and one thing alone: attention.
Yeah, tell him.
Fitzroy just chokes on his drink next to Savali.
You see an entire party turns their head to you. In this moment, you interrupted this speech, this grand master plan. You guys immediately become hostile to this faction.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yep.
Savali, do me a favor. Roll me a allure check.
God damn it.
Come on, Savali.
All right.
You got this.
All right.
You don't want to roll 2 ones. That'd be wild.
Okay, I rolled a 5 and a 4, so a 9 plus 0. This is 9.
Okay. You see momentarily Antonio's eyes glance over to a number of very fucking scary bodyguards. They look to him for permission, and he gives them a small shake of the head, allowing you to stay in this moment.
Hi, I'm Savali.
Savali, shut the fuck up.
Okay.
I would also like to just, the group that Kane and I are sitting with, I am just being quiet, but a little bit like an intentional distraction. I'm trying to like fan and fawn with these guys we're sitting with and just trying to make sure they're not really giving their most attention to the center of the room.
Go ahead and roll me an allure check and see how well you do.
Oh God. Okay. 9.
9 is exactly what you need.
Oh, good. Okay.
Also, just a quick rules reminder for everybody. If you ever want to re-roll a die, if you have failed and you want to re-roll, you can do so. You just have to gain a chaos.
Oh, that's a
Noted.
good reminder.
It kind of acts in the same way as like Burning Heart in Orbital Blues.
Mm-hmm.
You see Antonio kind of re-centers himself, tries to not pay attention to this side table of nobodies that you are sitting with, trying to distract them from his speech. As he centers himself, you all have been indulging in some blood, indulging in one of your passions. Can I have everyone gain D3 pulse and gain 1 chaos, please? In addition, when you indulge in your passions, you also look at your passion prompts, which are in the book. I'd like you all to choose one of those. Just a reminder, you can only choose any prompt once per city.
Oh, okay. That is a good reminder. Okay.
And I would ask you to bring that in by the time we finish painting the town red in this episode. But I'll let you keep it to yourself and work it in however you see fit. So, have some fun with it. Antonio gets his presents back and he picks up where he left off, raising his hand very slowly, very deliberately, very showman-like, very much an ad man, grabbing onto the crimson tarp, this crimson cloth, hiding whatever is behind this thing, this grand reveal. Attention, the mind, this is the true goal. All the money in the world means nothing if you don't have their attention. That is the prize. People are about to eat this city. Normal people in their desperation, in their mayhem, in the mayhem the brokers created, they will be looking for someone to lead them. Tammany Hall, no. We don't want any more of that. We want a new era, an era for ourselves, an era that we choose, an era of control. And I have just the man to lead us there. And he grabs onto the tarp, grabs it, and pulls it down. You see a face. It's a poster. It's a smiling face. It's a happy person. Someone who looks excited to be here. Fitz, Savali, and Minnie. All of you see a person you could easily elect as mayor. Kane.
Yeah.
You see your brother.
Fuck.
Upon seeing Abel's face on this poster, one of the rules in the book is you can just take damage. If something happens that would hurt your feelings, I think I'm going to take 3 pulse damage as I see Abel's face just immediately, as the sound of a crushing skull that was just being drowned out by almost a rushing flow of blood that I had just drank overwhelms that rushing sound. And it's just a cacophony in my head as I think involuntarily just stand up. You hear the screeching of the wooden chair across the floorboards as I just stare in shock at this poster. And very quickly notice everyone staring. I'm sorry.
He's excited to vote, everybody. He's excited to vote.
Yeah. As we all are.
Yeah. I'd vote for this guy.
And they sit back down.
Kane, you see a very familiar face, literally familial face. You've not seen for some time, but a face etched in your memory. That sound, that ever-present crush, crush, crush that is the heartbeat of your own death, matches for a moment with the sound of applause as the sound, whatever the rest of the speech was, the rest of you hear it. Kane, you will never know what Antonio said after he announced your brother as a candidate for mayor. You look into this face, this beautiful poster that you feel a pull to. Not only of great design and of, this is, after all, an advertising firm. They make it look goddamn good. You feel something in that ink on the page pulling you towards it. Minnie, Fitz, Savali, you all feel something in the physical ink of this page seeping into your mind saying, vote for me. Vote for me. The undead can hear it, but you know that this is not something mortals would be able to resist. The plan of Margino and Bane is not super complex. They have the ability to change minds because advertising is not just like mind control, it is mind control. And they've made that all the more literal. They've chosen their candidate. Their candidate is Abel. That womp 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 that you were hearing, Kane, begins to fade out as the party returns to your ears, and you slowly start to hear a bit of Antonio's words. And we're going to be announcing officially, of course, on the steps of City Hall, Tuesday after the close of the stock market. Right when they think they've won, we'll show them just how wrong they are. If someone's gonna take this city, it might as well be us. And rounds of applause from the sycophants that embody this room. And also Savali.
I agree. This is great.
The applause dies down. You see a number of campaign buttons and adornments and t-shirts and hats and posters all litter this area, but none with the draw of this main campaign poster. You see that similar, almost moving, shimmering ink that is on the hands of one of the four with Antonio Margino, a man named Jim Squire, the graphic designer, trained to use hypnotic ink. The party returns. A number of people chat and enjoy the time, talking wildly about what the city will be like when Margino and Bane, through their puppet Abel, control this city. What do you guys do?
Kane has just been staring at this poster. You see them gripping onto the rosary around their neck until it's digging into their palms and blood begins to trickle down through their fist. And just haven't said a word, just staring at this poster.
And sat next to him, rather less imposing, Fitzroy has also been staring, but not at the poster, but rather at Antonio Margino himself. And occasionally just his eyes flick over to Minnie and back at Margino, and back at Minnie, and back at Margino, and then, fuck it. And he just stands up and walks over to Margino, and immediately realizes this guy's around a full head taller than he is, but he just sort of squares up to him and, nice party.
Thank you very much. I quite admire, and he looks you up and down for something to compliment, your drink there. And he points to the drink that you mixed.
You make a habit of talking rudely to your guests, or
He kind of looks off in the distance. Rudeness implies a negativity towards an equal, yes? Generally. And I think if you look around this room, you'll find I sit at the head of it. It's not rudeness when it comes from the top so much as just harsh truths told to you by your betters.
well, I think you should apologise to my better over there.
He looks over, sees Minnie.
Please?
Timony, who is leaned over the chair watching this and drinking straight out of the bottle. With a guy who is, clearly whispering in her ear and, kissing her hand, and she's not paying attention at all. She is dead-eyed lock on whatever's happening over there.
Fitz, go ahead and roll me a whatever kind of check you would like, but you will roll with against the odds.
Okay. He's trying to be savage. He has a +0 in savage.
Oh no, babe.
Come on, roll high.
That is an 8.
That is 1 shy. If you want to gain chaos, you can gain 1 chaos per die you re-roll. But you have to keep the re-rolled result.
Yeah, I think in this moment, Fitz has seen this kind of arrogance before. It is the arrogance that leads to people suffering. It is a dispassionate command of hundreds, thousands, fucking millions. And suddenly Fitz just feels that sensation of soil in his throat once more. And yeah, I think he's going to push it. That's a 7.
Did you re-roll 2 dice?
Damn.
I did.
So take 2 chaos.
Fitz, just as his blood is beginning to boil, he's just stood there more impotent than he has ever been.
You see Antonio look at you and turn away without addressing you, without looking back to Minnie, without saying anything, with a look that confirms in your mind that he is your better. And he turns his back to you, fully confident that you will fucking do nothing. And he goes back about his conversation. A conversation that you overhear is entirely trivial. Almost deliberately so.
As Antonio turns, he sees the poster which Savali is making out with right now.
Babe. What?
She's been hypnotized. She likes
out with my brother.
She doesn't know that.
Yeah. So to recap, Fitz, you say this thing, you get the most withering dismissal of your life, likely that you will ever receive. And immediately Antonio turns around, tries to do even worse to you with his back turn, immediately is met with the sight of Savali, arms around. Let me be very clear. A poster on cardboard.
Yeah, of course.
And just face fully in face, more licking than kissing, just kind of mouth on where the mouth is. And immediately you see this person who had only full control of the room absolutely lose control. What is even going to happen here? I don't know.
Is there another level to hostile, or
there should be.
I broke your game, Zach. I broke your game.
Sorry, Zach. Whenever we get Chinook to play, that's stressing. That's stress testing your game. We're gonna see how far.
Savali, you immediately hear, "What are you doing?" As Antonio's voice booms around this room. The rest of the room goes silent. All eyes turn to you. You see what was this jovial atmosphere, this forced joviality, all of a sudden silences, and we just hear the sound.
Oh my god!
oh my god!
Savali, you become very aware of the entire room silencing. You momentarily break your trance and turn around just in time to see Switch drop their coat, all 12 arms extend towards you, biceps flexing, and is going to fucking attack you.
Oh no.
I didn't even think I was gonna be rolling. I don't even know if I'm supposed to roll in this game, but I'm gonna.
My God.
Oh,
Chinook,
no.
I love playing with you, Chinook. I can't just say that.
Get him. Get him, Somali.
Get his 12-armed ass.
Yeah.
Switch is going to roll savagery to eat some fucker alive. Going for the throat is absolutely going for you.
Whoa.
Any mortal you're fighting is dead on the ground if I succeed. Any undead you're fighting are flatlined and unable to resist exposure to Banes. If you fail, you lose the fight, you get absolutely destroyed, and gain D3 chaos. What's going to happen now? I am going to roll with the upper hand, because this guy has 12 fucking arms.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's fair.
If he beats a 9, you will be flatlined. Your pulse will drop to 0, and we're going to have to deal with some additional things for that.
Okay. But Brian, did you consider that my dad invented fire?
Yeah.
What
is that?
How are you using that information to your advantage right now? Are you just
Nepotism?
saying? Are you just saying? Do you know who my dad is? Because honestly, nepotism straight up might work.
Yeah. I'm saying, wait. Do you know who my father is? Do you know who my dad is?
You know what? Here's what I'll give you. Roll a lore or duplicity against the odds. If you succeed, he will not have the upper hand. He'll just roll straight.
Okay. I'll roll duplicity with the. Okay.
With against the odds. So you're rolling 3, taking the lower
odds.
2.
So 3. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay, so I rolled a 6, 5, and a 3. So I'll take the 5 and the 3, plus 2 is 10.
Okay, 10. So you yell out, "Do you know who my dad is?" To be fair, in a room where that actually kind of carries weight.
Yeah.
It is not, let me be very clear, it is not going to stop Switch from attacking you. It is going to make him hesitate for a moment and makes it a little easier for you to maybe succeed.
Oh my God.
I'm going to say Switch. Switch is a 12-handed switchboard operator. I'm going to say he gets +1 to savagery.
Fuck.
Just
Sure.
rolling 2d6.
2 1s.
Can I ask, he's mortal or undead?
Undead.
Is definitely undead.
Those 12 arms, definitely undead.
I don't know. Maybe,
No, good point, yeah.
Switch rolled a 2 and a 2. +1 is 5. Fails.
Oh God.
Because he fails, he loses the fight, gets absolutely destroyed, and he loses some pulse and chaos, but since he's an NPC, that won't really affect Savali. And I'll say this to everybody. How does Savali win this fight? And Savali, you can tell me if it is you or if it is the combination of you. How does this go so wrong for Switch in a moment when he really wanted to impress his boss?
I mean, I want to leave it to Chinook. Does Savali fight this guy, or do you think it is like we do something? Do we intervene?
I think you guys probably do something. I mean, like, tell me if this vibes with you guys, but like, I feel like Savali isn't quite the fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm envisioning sort of like a comedy of errors on Switch's part, like where like Savali doesn't fight necessarily, but like Switch just trips over every possible thing in like the nearby radius, and like I feel like what I'm seeing is like we keep like almost intervening, but Switch just keeps tripping over shit. And
I feel like you guys are intervening from afar. Like no one knows it's really you, but like you like pull a wire and like trip him and like like a bunch of like
I like drop a beer can and roll it across the floor.
Yeah.
Switch trips over it.
Like we haven't like we've been in this scenario before where like you guys are like, she did it again.
Yeah.
What happens in the immediate aftermath of this is a Rube Goldberg machine of monumental proportions From the back of the bar, someone realizes that a bunch of bottles are missing. They turn around to grab another bottle, knock over one wine glass. It spills onto the ground. That spill makes Dr. Lawrence Fielding slip, toss all the knuckle bones in the air. Those knuckle bones fly, and they land in a bunch of other glasses, a bunch of other champagne glasses. The people holding those champagne glasses toss them in the air in fright. That then rains down on top of Antonio. Antonio goes, "What the hell?" It turns Switch to turn around, who then falls over a wire that is pulled when Minnie brushes the guy off who's kissing her arm. He falls down, tightens the rope. The cord immediately goes taut. Switch falls over, knocks his head on the table. The table then falls over on top of Switch. All of the tchotchkes fall on top of him. Savali, you move back. The poster that you're making out with, now unstable, falls, and you see Switch stand up and look up just in time to have his face meet with Abel's face, and the last thing you see is his head smashing through in a carnival style through this poster, and he falls to the ground unconscious with his head cartoon carnival style through this fucking billboard.
And then I think Savali's like, "Oh no, are you okay?" Runs over and then uses their power of undeath to accidentally shock them.
Oh my god!
You see this I get not poor, he's a bad guy, but Switch, it gets up and goes, "Huh?" And then all of a sudden you electrocute Switch. That hits all of the alcohol that is now running through this room. The entire room gets a jolt. Everybody jumps, falls to the ground. A bunch of people accidentally piss themselves. It's a very bad time. Savali, I'm gonna say for that, the whole party loses 1 pulse, gains 1 chaos.
Yeah.
And Savali, I'm gonna say that Dr. Lawrence Fielding, who was a friendly contact, is now a rival contact because all of his bones got destroyed.
It's fine. I have plenty more.
I'm no good at this game.
You're great at this game.
I think you're winning at this game. Honestly.
Let's be clear. This game is about partying too hard.
Yeah.
As this happens, everyone is on the floor, having been slightly electroshocked. I'm going to say including Minnie, Kane, and Fitzroy. You guys knew it was coming, but you're still going to get hit by it a little bit. It becomes immediately apparent to you that the fun in this room has fully left the building, and the danger in this building is pretty goddamn high. You guys sticking around to find out, or are you getting out of here?
Guy kissing my arm. I'm sorry, I totally forgot your name. You want to get out of here?
Oh, hey, I'm Ryan.
How are you spelling this, Brian? How are you spelling this one? I need to know how you're spelling
Ryan
this.
with an I.
This is Ryan with an I. Truly the worst, the worst of the options.
Ryan with an I.
Yeah, Ryan. We should totally get out of here.
Hey,
you
let's
got a
get out
place?
of here. Oh yeah, I got a place. I live on Staten Island.
Oh, you want to go check out the fire escape?
Sure.
Yeah, just out this way.
You guys exit to the fire escape on the 60th floor.
Yeah. The thing is that Minnie is a little bit drunk. Minnie is a little bit intoxicated and will kind of like dragging him outside. She really kind of wants to see where this party goes and like what's happening, but she's just got the munchies. She's so hungry. So she's gonna bring this guy up the fire escape, maybe 2 or 3 stories.
Oh, it's a little chilly out here. I never thought I was afraid of heights, but then when you get up this high, it's like, ooh.
No.
It's not if I will fall. It's will I jump? You know what I mean? That's the fear.
Will you?
It depends on the day.
Don't though. Not right now. Not yet.
No. It's just a thing you say at the end of a work week that's really stressful, and your boss is all over you, and you don't think you're ever going to get ahead. And maybe you probably won't get ahead, but you kind of, they keep dangling that thing in front of you that like maybe you will, that little cheese stick. The carrot, and then they hit you with the cheese stick, and it's
As like you're kind of like rambling and she's dragging you up the stairs, at first I think she's like passionately like making out with you, like as like it like every couple of stories, and then like as you keep rambling about this, she's just like, okay, all right. I get it.
So accounts payable are different than accounts billable. And
No,
that's
yeah.
the thing.
I get it.
I didn't understand that at the time. And it's a simple mistake to make.
Oh my God. She takes him up this fire escape, and every couple of, steps, distracting him from whatever rant and ramble he's on is distracting him with pushing him up against whatever railing and kissing him and trying to stop him from talking.
It's surprising how well that works and how short of a time it works for. It's
Not
so
that
brief
surprising.
that you can get him to shut his mouth.
Yeah. And then when she gets to like a nice quiet place where they're up in the rafters a little bit and he continues to go on, she's just so tired and there's just so much being said downstairs, and she can like almost even feel like this energy shift in the city that she's just not been accepting of. Everybody's been talking about it over and over again, even since last night. And now with this, it's just overwhelming, and her head is swimming and she's hungry, and she just shots him up mid-sentence with a gash, a kiss to his neck, tears him open like a geyser, and huddles over him like she's drunk at 3:00 in the morning trying to have a snack, and huddled over him like a mess. And like a mess, her eyes go a kind of sclera black as she drinks obsessively and weeps, cries, heaving even as she drinks from him.
You see a moment of excitement as you go to kiss his neck, and then very quickly see that turn to a realization, a confusion, and then, quicker than you might expect, an acceptance. As you drain this person, they slowly crumple down onto the fire escape, and you do your work. As you do, you hear the city around you, and you can smell the misery on the air. Vampires in this city, undead in this city, can smell joy, and they can smell misery. And it's not uncommon for when you sniff hard enough and you smell for one of those things, you can find the person most joyful, the person most miserable. You suck into this man, draining him quickly, and you sniff on the air, and maybe it's because you're so high in the air that you can't quite smell the rest of the city, because the most miserable thing that you can smell is you. And it just makes you want to get anywhere but here. Anywhere where there's more people, anywhere where you can find the solace of someone having a worse time than you. Minnie, I also need you to, as you indulge in your passion, gain D3 pulse, gain 1 chaos, and you can choose one of your passion prompts from your passion list. And let me know what you pick.
That's 13 pulse and 8 chaos. So that's going to be a high and high. You know what? I think that she doesn't want to be here. She doesn't want to be anywhere. She just wants to be doing whatever is going to make her feel better. And the only thing that makes her feel better is drinking from this guy. She can't go back to that party. That's the other thing that would make her feel better. So she's going to take number 6, which is you're mid-passion right now. Just indulge. And she's going to turn this person into shrink wrap, essentially. She's just going to lay there and cry and drink until way past there being anything left.
Your pulse is so high. You are so oddly alive right now. But you are so sad. And that is a terrible realization that you can feel this alive, and feeling this alive comes with that double-edged sword. Being alive can be happy and joyful, and it can also be miserable. You know that the last gulps of blood from this person do not taste good or not easy to get to, and you squeeze the toothpaste from the tube until it crinkles and cracks and shatters in your hands. And we fade from that scene. Is there anything else anyone wants to do in the moments before this party turns on you? Or are you guys hightailing it out of here?
I'm just running out of here. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I realize when I'm not wanted.
Atta girl.
Atta girl.
Atta girl, Smelly.
As we pull out of this scene, pulling back through the fog of New York City as the moon is beginning to rise and come out in full on this night, we're going to move to a bit of downtime even while you guys are at the party. This is from the moments that the party has turned on you till sometime the next day or two. I'm going to have each of you tell me what you do in this downtime, either immediately or over the course of the next couple of days. I'll say this goes through Monday morning, starting with Fitz. As this party begins to turn on you, you see Minnie leave out the window with some bright-eyed young Ryan, who you also immediately see drops a couple of papers, and one of them is a business card. And as you kind of look at it, it also says executive accountant. And you realize that was probably the guy you wanted.
Fitz just walks over to the carpet, and chaos is beginning to percolate around the room, and he knows it'll be time to leave soon. For as much as he is fond of his eclectic roommates, the same cannot be said for the rest of society, certainly not society this high up. And speaking of high up, he looks out towards the fire escape. And he takes the business card and rather optimistically puts it inside his jacket as he steps out. And as he steps out and the cool breeze this high up just hits him, through the iron stairs that lead up the fire escape, rivulets of blood are just pouring down as he just looks up. And as he looks up and he just hears this heaving weeping, he realizes it's time to lie low. So he heads on up the stairs, and coming up behind Minnie, he just takes off his crinkled white flannel jacket and just rests it over her heaving shoulders and just presses his cold hands against her back and just, come on, love. Let's go.
We gotta go back inside.
No. Let's walk.
Yeah, we could go along the river.
You can take in the Statue of Liberty if you like. Let's go home.
Okay, yeah, home's good. Yeah, home's good.
walk down many, many winding stairs outside, the cold cutting into you, only feeling worse. You take a long walk west to the Hudson River, walking along the West Side Highway, and Fitz, you off in the distance hear that low.
Oh, so tasty.
And another. This time, just enough time for you to duck and have this large bit of Hudson spit go over your shoulder. Fitz, as you lie low and take this long walk back home, can you roll a d6 for me and reduce your chaos by that much?
1.
Hey, it's something. Minnie, I think let's go to you next since you're with Fitz.
Yeah.
As you guys are walking home, what do you do in your downtime?
Minnie's getting worried that her interests are not going to stick around. Everybody's talking about how this city's going to die, and that's just not acceptable information, So I think not this night. This night she's going to cling to Fitzroy, but and maybe over the next night, just gonna go out and try to see what there is in the city, things that might make her feel alive again, things that might make her feel good, and so she's gonna kind of go out, maybe to where the richer folk go. They seem to be doing all right. They don't seem to be as worried as we all are. Go to Carnegie Hall, where I ripped off these binoculars. We'll see what they do over there. And just gonna try to find a new passion.
Hell yeah. So to find a new passion, create a new passion for yourself and indulge in it in some extravagant way. Add it to your passion list on your character sheet. And throughout the next session, you must indulge in that passion at least once. If you end the session with less than 6 pulse, something is wrong and that new passion does not feel the same. You reduce your pulse to 1 and you are lost in the doldrums.
Oof.
What I think will happen is that, she watches people going in and out of Carnegie Hall. She watches the way that they laugh and the way that they dress and whatever. And she kind of thinks that maybe she's going to learn how to appreciate the finer things. And I think that kind of as a side effect of this, her passion is envy. She just watches them enjoy it. And she experiences that envy and feels alive in pursuit of that. So she just watches them. Watches the rich enjoy their living life.
You sit there in the back of this theater, in the only seats you could find and afford, with your stolen opera glasses, listening to music you don't fully understand, but can kind of appreciate, but I don't know, it's not as fun as the stuff that you've been listening to at The Shallow Grave.
Yeah, my Italian's not great.
But everyone here is loving it. Everyone seems so happy. Some of it's not genuine, but some of it is.
Yeah.
And you so badly want to understand it. And maybe you will. But not quite yet. Moving up to Savali. Savali, how do you spend this downtime?
This is a toughie. We have to earn bonds and play, right?
I think it's a move for it, yeah.
You can set out to start finding a bond if you want.
I'm gonna go out and form a bond, seek a bond. I'm seeking a bond. Savali's seeking a bond. That's what's happening.
Do you plan to... There are 3 methods you can take when going to seek for a new bond. And bonds in this game are wildly overpowered. It is true in this game that love is something that is overpowered. And finding a bond can really help you control your pulse and chaos in any way you want. There are 3 approaches you can make. You can go all out. You can open up and be vulnerable, risking everything. You can play it safe, being coy and guarded without taking risks, just hanging out. Or you can try to fix them.
I'm gonna go all out.
Go all out. To go all out, you need to perform a single massive gesture of some kind and make a narratively appropriate check. Probably for one of your contacts. Is there anyone that calls out to you? Or I can also have you roll for a new contact if you'd like.
Yeah, let's meet a new person.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a d12 for me.
Okie dokie. I rolled a 2.
There are 2 options. One of them is Dr. Lawrence Fielding, that bumbling historian and antiquarian. And there's also a wealthy patron of the arts. Who would you prefer?
The patron of the arts.
Okay. As you run out of this party, you are followed by someone who you meet in the elevator. You guys chat just a little bit. His name is actually someone you recognize. It's George Ludat, who many consider to be like single-handedly funding Broadway. Ultra wealthy patron of the arts. And also he is reciting to you, almost just because you are an audience, lines from plays recent, old, ancient, and lost from memory. How do you go about trying to make this person a bond? What over-the-top gesture do you do?
You said he's citing plays?
He's like reciting lines to plays almost just because you're an audience. He's just giving you lines.
It's the evening, I suppose. They're walking down... We're on Madison?
Yeah, you're on Madison Avenue.
We're walking down Madison Ave, and people... It's busy. People are out and about. And Savali is fully enraptured by this, like, artistic person, as it's been, like, her dream to be an artist herself. And she's, like, really, like, just taken back when he, like, quotes, like, Oedipus. And she's like, I know who wrote that. They sucked. And, like, she's kind of, like, waves it off. And he, like, continues to quote stuff. And then she's like, oh, like, I write plays myself too on my typewriter back home. Would you want to come read something I've written? And he's like, hell yeah, I do.
He says, hell yeah. You guys make your way back to the apartment, and you lay your heart bare by showing him something that you have written. I need you to make a narratively appropriate stat check you can choose. If you pass, he will become a bond. If you fail, he will not become a bond. You will be emotionally devastated, and you will immediately flatline.
This sucks.
What could go wrong?
Come on.
I didn't mean to tell you that after you chose it, but it was funnier.
Narratively appropriate. I feel like it's a lure. That's what feels appropriate.
Go ahead and roll me.
And my allure is +0. So
just got to get a 9.
Come on.
What'd you roll?
I rolled 2 6s.
Yeah, baby.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's our girl.
You sit down at the apartment, this like just dingy apartment that the four of you are in together. It's a 6th floor walk up. And
it's in the rectory of a church. A 6th floor walk up in a rectory of a church.
oh yes, in the rectory of a church. The rectory housed a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You walk up the stairs of the rectory, you invite him into your room, you show him all of your various poems and writings and things.
I show him my half of the room. I show him the bunk bed that Kane and I share in our room. And I give him a copy of my play titled Burr, the Fuck Hamilton Story.
Oh my god.
You see him read it at first just as a token, as a gesture, as a kindness. And then you see him read a little closer. And you see him really read it in a way that maybe you yourself haven't even in some time. Just you know it. You haven't seen anyone consume something that you've made. You come from a family where your goal was to consume. Fire is the all-consuming thing. You've never really created before or seen someone enjoy that. He turns the final page and looks up at you wide-eyed. Just goes, "My dear, you've got something here." I don't like that choice. I'm not going to do that choice. I'm not going to stick with it.
Commit.
I immediately looked up at Ed and I was like, I can't do it.
I love him. I love him.
Oh no, you know what? Here's the answer. Well, I'll be. You got something here. This isn't just drivel. I was expecting just the normal, standard, classic bullshit. This is not that, and I am sorry I ever thought of you that way. I've just seen so many people, I've read so many things, and I thought this was just another one amongst them, another thing on my desk in front of my eyes that would pass in front of it. It will not, I promise. And he gets in really fucking close. Very intense. I will not forget these words. These words will live next to the bard in my mind, and by God, this will be on the stage. I will make this a reality. I will claw from the depths of your soul, bring it forth into the world so that everyone may enjoy this beauty. Your beauty.
Savali hugs him and is like, "Oh my god, thank you so much." And then is like, "You have to get out. I gotta write now," and kicks him out. And is like, "You're great." And she starts typing away at her, on her typewriter. And I think for the second time, because earlier she realized her shadow was missing with Freddy, looks again at her shadow, expecting it to be back, and goes, "Wait, why is it not back yet? Where's my shadow?" And immediately goes out to confront her roommates and is like, "Guys, did you steal my shadow?"
I don't know if I'm
What?
there. Yeah.
I'd say
think
Kane,
Kane's
you're
there.
not back yet. I think it's you just see Minnie and Fitz out there.
Yeah, and we're not looking great, to be honest. But there's that initial what are you talking about?
Where's my shadow? Look,
Oh,
this is you're pranking me again, right? This is your prank on your human friend, roommate. Ha!
yeah, no, hold
get
on,
it.
just hold on, hold still. And Minnie still kind of drunk and drowsy and still just weepy, gets up and puts on a lamp and points it at you and looks at Fitzroy.
Fitz? What, does Kane have it?
Would Fitz know of any operation within the city that specializes in the harvesting or indeed the bartering and selling of shadows?
You would know that the 6th family uses shadows to control in order to make their soldiers move. Don Estrasio takes their shadows, holding them ransom. You know that Tammany Hall will often collect banes of the city. But honestly, any undead would know the value of a shadow. It is the last connection to mortality. It's that last tether to the earth. They're not so hard to remove. They're even easier to burn should you want them to.
Fitz just looks at you, Savali, and I think I'm gonna go talk to Seamus, the guy you roughed up the other day. In the meantime, I would suggest not speaking out of turn for a while.
Yeah, I did fuck him up pretty good.
Kane, somewhere in the city, you feel a chill.
I feel someone take credit for my horrendous violence.
Well, you got plans for the rest of the night? You know, while Roy is heading out?
Yeah, you want to hang out?
I
Girl
think
time?
maybe we gotta have a chat. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to talk about? What happened to you tonight when you got too drunk and started crying embarrassingly in front of everybody?
Oh yeah, you know me, just so emotional. But how you feel about harsh truths?
Don't like them.
Yeah. Not me neither.
I'm gonna cut from there as that question lingers in the air. Fitz, you head out and see George Ludat waiting beneath the balcony of Savali, listening to the typewriter come and go every now and then, listening to it as if it is ambrosia, as if it is lost music, clutching tight to this play that he is so excited to put on. And as you walk to go talk to Seamus, we pull back to see a final scene with Kane. Kane, what do you do in your downtime after seeing your brother's face for the first time in a very long time?
The sound of a skull crushing has always been echoing in Kane's head ever since that day. He's assumed it's part of the curse that was placed on him. And I think even with the almost slapstick comedy violence of Switch trying to attack Savali, they're pulled out of this almost dissociation for a moment, and then the sound of Switch's head slamming into a table perfectly syncs up with the crushing of a skull in Kane's head, and he's pulled back into this vision, this memory, as he looks down at his hand, the one that's tightly clutching the rosary until it drew blood, his bleeding hand. And this view almost melds into a memory where he's looking down at his bloody hands before dipping them into a river and washing his brother's blood from his hands. And as he's washing his hands, he hears a booming voice, a voice that people would call the voice of God, the voice of God asking Kane,
"Where is your brother?"
And Kane, numb with adrenaline, washing his hands of his brother's blood, he says, "Why do you ask? I'm not my brother's keeper." And the Lord very quickly, maybe even always knew what had happened, says that
"Your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. Now you are under a curse and driven from the ground, which opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, you will no longer yield its crops for you. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth."
And Kane is almost pulled out of their numb, again, disassociation after the crime they had just committed, and their heart sinks because they know when God places a curse on you, there is nothing you can do about it. And he begs and pleads, saying, I can't live like this. If anyone finds out what I've done, that you have forsaken me, they'll kill me. And God responds,
if anyone kills Cain, he'll suffer vengeance 7 times over.
And then the Lord put a mark on Cain so that no one would find him and kill him. And he remembers the shooting pain of this mark as every blood vessel in his left eye bursts. And instead of red, crimson bleeding out, a black ichor begins to fill that eye instead. A very visible mark of a man cursed by God. And he remembers every day since then, every day for a few centuries, he begs and pleads for forgiveness that never comes. He watches the earth begin to be populated around him. He watches people believe in the Lord go directly against them. And he starts to see and notice that these prophets of the Lord start talking about how God is a merciful God, how he will forgive you for your sins. He even watches these people be forgiven by the Lord and sees that they never receive that same mercy. And he begins to internalize that what he had done must be so unforgivable, that he must be a monster, that not even God can forgive them. And then one day, he just accepts it. If I'm a monster, if God has claimed that I'm a monster, who am I to say no to that? Who am I to deny that? And then almost in the exact moment when he accepts that truth, he feels that shooting pain in his left eye again. And he screams. It's worse than when the mark was initially given to them. And as he rushes to the river by his very lonesome hut that he lives in now, he sees his reflection, and pushing out of his left eye is a flower bud, as a myrtle flower begins to grow from his left eye. And I think as this memory plays in his head, he feels that throbbing pain in his left eye. And he just says, I lived all these years thinking you were dead, enduring the suffering and the punishment for what I'd done, and still here. I had to suffer. I'm going to make that suffering worthwhile. I'm going to finish the job. And I am going to seek some new power, as maybe even unknowingly, unbeknownst to him, they reach for something more to make sure that when they find Abel, and they will find Abel, he stays dead. And the atrocious act I do is I'm going to eat every fucker in this party.
Jesus. All right.
That's biblical, all right. Yeah, for sure.
That went biblical fast.
To seek some new power, you must commit an atrocious act beyond passion, must be wide in scale. And what you are describing is certainly that.
Mm-hmm.
When the next downtime begins, your pulse becomes 1, your chaos will be 6, as your actions cause havoc throughout the city. If your pulse was higher than 6 at this point, gain D6. Gain a new power of undeath and add it to your character sheet. You may only do this once per city. When you heard some time ago Switch whisper to the rest of his compatriots, "Do you know who that is?" They didn't understand who you were. They knew who you were. They did not understand who you were. You've said it before and people think you're joking. They think it's a bit when you say I'm the person who invented murder. It sounds like a cool line. They don't understand the power that comes with that. The truth that comes with that
to invent something as to become it. This party does not know what hit them. The carnage that is wrought here will be spoken of for years. This building will be condemned because of it. The lot will never house another building for fear of something like this happening again. The myth around this stretch of Madison Avenue will echo for a very long time. It happens quick. It happens viciously. There are almost no screams because people just understand there is no stopping this. What new power of undeath are you seeking?
As I step out of this building, drenched in the blood of these partygoers, at this point I pulled off my eye patch. It's very clear that this flower is growing from my body, from my eye. But the once white petals, almost like ink trailing up paper, is turning a horrid, inky black as I pick inhuman strength as my other power of undeath. I crushed Abel's skull and he somehow stood back up. I'm going to make sure there's nothing left this time around.
I'm going to say this. I'd like you to roll a savagery check. I'll let you roll it with the upper hand because of this new power. If you succeed, you will wipe this faction from the earth. If you fail, Antonio will escape with his life.
Oh my god.
Come on, babe. Come on.
Let me be clear. Only Antonio will escape.
Can I suggest a different thing for if I succeed?
Yeah, sure.
I kill everyone but Antonio, so he can tell the tale of what happened here.
Yeah.
So I guess it's either I let Antonio live intimidated enough to not try to mess with me, or Antonio lives and maybe seeks revenge if I fail.
Go ahead and roll for him.
I rolled 3 6s, so I don't think it matters which one I choose. That's a 14. The devil's number, by the way, which I think is very fitting.
The party goes silent. The building goes silent. There are some that say New York goes silent for a moment. No one can silence New York for very long, but for a second, for a New York minute, that can happen. Antonio is the first one to speak to break that silence.
Who the hell do you think you are?
And he raises a hand to strike you down and learns of the curse that was put on you. Antonio does not die, but he will wish he has for a very long time. There are things worse than undeath that no one has ever known before, but Antonio does now.
Kane walks over to Antonio's beaten and bruised body. You can still tell they're still undead, not dead. And they'll crouch over them and just say, I am the first murderer. Antonio, I am murder.
And we leave from that scene, go up into the skies above Manhattan, above New York City, and hear once again the sound of a city slowly rotting. But somewhere there's still a party happening. Slowly fading off into the night. And that is all for this episode of My First Dungeon, Paint the Town Red.
Oh my god.
Tune in next time to see what consequences await this party and just how much more New York can crumble. Bye, everybody.
Bye. I'm a vampire.
Yeah.
This season of My First Dungeon is sponsored by Soul Muppet Publishing. Paint the Town Red is now crowdfunding on BackerKit. Use the link in our show notes to let them know that My First Dungeon sent you there. My First Dungeon presents Paint the Town Red features the voice talents of Brian Flaherty, Super Dylan, Chinook Tessera, Draconics, and Edward Spence. This episode was produced by Elliot Davis and Abby Hepworth. Editing and sound design by Brian Flaherty. The theme song, Paint the Town Red, was written and performed by Jay Stroutman. This episode featured music by Behold and additional music from artlist.io. My First Dungeon is a many-sided media production. To hear the cast talk back for this episode, plus additional bonus actual plays, visit us on our Patreon. And remember, if you're having fun, you're already doing it right.
If you're hearing this, that means you listened to every last second of this episode. And if you simply cannot wait until the next episode drops, you should head over to patreon.com/myfirstdungeonpod and become a member of the Dice Pool. Fresh! For just a few bucks a month, you'll get cast talkbacks, original games, and a full-length bonus actual play each and every month. As of the end of 2023, there's already over 20 hours of bonus audio, plus a whole bunch of other goodies to enjoy. So head on over to patreon.com/myfirstdungeonpod and jump on into the Dice Pool. We'll see you there. Splash!